We sometimes forget that this is a game, but my condolences and thoughts and prayers are with Steve. And his mother passed today, and wanted to let him know that the Illini fans and people were thinking about him on a tough day in which his team played really, really good. We had no answer defensively. It was a tough day for us. It was on that end of the court, and yet we did make enough stops down the stretch when we had to. Give their young kids, McConnell especially, kid averaging 4 a game. Judy made every play, made every shot. Our pressure didn't bother him. They didn't run a whole lot, but they got the ball and were effective. Scoring over the top of us. Harper hit a really tough shot to send it in overtime, and give them a lot of credit. And then obviously, in a night when Io, Trent, and fighting some foul problems, we got on the big boys back and rode those shoulders for 29 second half points, and that efficiency was needed, being 14 of 18 from the field. And congratulations to him, breaking almost a 30-year-old record. That's pretty special, and for a young man that didn't have a lot of recruitment, I think he's proven he's a pretty good player.
Jeremy?
Brad, I know you loved him as a prospect, but I mean, even you have to be a little surprised by what he's doing this year. What has surprised you most? Is it his strength? Is it his confidence? What has surprised you as a freshman?
Well, we knew his IQ. I mean, that's why we recruited him, his feel, and his ability to pass. His effectiveness on the block. I thought he'd be a phenomenal passer, and he still is, on the pinch post because of his IQ and feel. And, he's blossomed into a really good low post player. Just simply, he can go both ways. His feet are phenomenal. We knew he had good feet. Pays to take dance. And, his ability to pivot. Now he starts making free throws. He becomes a guy that is a difficult guard because you can't foul.
Coach, as you mentioned, it was a struggle defensively. First, in the regulation, they shot 55% from the field, but in overtime, only 30% from the field, and including a 3-minute stretch where they didn't score. Did they change in overtime, or?
Yeah, we mixed up defenses a little bit more. It was one of those that's kind of a cat and mouse game. We were pretty small. We had the 3 little guys in. More of that for the offensive end, trying to create the matchups on that end of the court, and then we went a little bit of zone, and just had to get them out of rhythm of trying to drive the basketball. But the one thing that we got them kind of out of rhythm and spraying it, and they're not a great 3-point shooting team statistically, but today they were pretty good, and that was a concern as well. But we were fortunate we got enough stops when we had to.
Eric?
George, you mentioned you kind of got on him during halftime. What was just the message to him?
Well, I mean, we all know that Georgie emotionally can be a guy that has to have a little balance, and he had a little frustrating moment when he tried acting like a point guard and dribbled the ball down the court and got it knocked away, and I just wanted him to be him, do what he does, and that's outlet it and play and not go above and beyond. And I think the second half is pretty good proof. When he does what he does, he's really good at it.
In the back, Brett?
Brad, how much do you need a player like Georgie as you try and continue this rebuild? He's charismatic. I feel like he's kind of stealing the hearts of the Illini Nation right now. How endearing is that to your fans and to maybe your program and what you want it to be?
I don't know if we want good kids. We want good guys, good character. I mean, we were really good players, and it's it's not just him. I mean, he's got personality, we know that, that's important, but it's, you know, when you would go through the non-league and lose as much as we have, it's about, you know, it's never been about me, it's never been I, it's always been us and we and the teammates, and Georgie's at the top of that, and I say this all the time, he's the most sincere young man I know, and you know, he's got a great way about it, and sure, so we need that, and I mean, you know, if the fans love him, that's even better, you know, but it's hard not to like Georgie because of his passion and his sincerity.
Brad, you said on the radio that you didn't think this team would win this type of game back in December. What's changed? What's clicked for these guys to be able to close down the stretch?
Yeah, confidence. I mean, being in those battles, you know, we can sit and look at, pick a game in the non-league and having leads in the second half and having the opportunity to close games and miss shots or miss free throws or not get a stop. And at some point, you know, you sharpen the knife enough, it gets pretty sharp, and you start doing some of those things and executing and you know, again, we're not winning these games if that locker room is yeah, we have good players, but this group has stayed together and unselfish. And I mean, today Georgie got the water cooler on him, and I mean, those guys were in there hugging him and congratulating him, and that's more important than maybe anything. But experience and confidence is helping.
Eric?
Down the stretch, Aaron hits that three, and then on the other end, he draws a jump ball. Just how big was he for you guys down the stretch and overtime in this game?
Huge, and I mean, that's what a senior should do. You know, it's what it's, you know, you start looking and you're counting on that. And, you know, the pass made the shot. I mean, the pass was incredible. And I mean, you know, we ran a little ball screen action with Io and got it into the paint. We had told them in scouting report that we knew they were gonna be inside the blocks and the elbows, and that was the pass. Io's got size, and whipped it right there, put it on the numbers, and, you know, AJ's gonna make that 9 out of 10 times. And then the dive on the floor in a possession game, that's important, and it was a huge play.
Brad, for a good stretch of the game in the second half, Io and Trent were both on the bench with foul trouble, at least Io was. But yet you had other guys step up like Andres Feliz and, of course, Georgie. Just talk about the resilience of your team during that stretch.
Well, I thought we got unbelievable minutes from Allen. I mean, Allen went in and defensively was really solid. He got a clean look at a three. He keeps his hands on balls that helped us there. I thought Adonis in the first half, I mean, my goodness, I felt bad because I couldn't get Adonis back in the game. But Georgie was going so well in the second half. But, you know, he steps up, he makes his free throws, he takes a charge, he's getting an offensive rebound. You know, I thought right on down the line, you know, Andres had an opportunity to get on a loose ball and dive on it. He was beat up in the timeout, and yet he bounces back and goes 5 of 5 from the free throw line. And that resiliency and that bench, it's what we strive for. That's what we continue to do, and we keep making less and less mistakes on the defensive side. That sounds crazy when you get up close to 100, but yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased with the way our bench is growing and developing.
Scott?
You called that timeout with like 3 minutes or so left in the game. Was that to get Georgie a blow and so he didn't have to take him out? Because he looked a little gassed.
Yeah, I thought they were tired, I thought we were tired. And it was just a matter of you know, let's be fresh, let's make sure we know what we're doing. The last 3 minutes, it was also, we talked a little bit about what we were going to try to do on the defensive end, but and matchups as well. But yeah, it was hard to get him out. You know, and he's a tough enough kid that he can play through a lot of that.
Right, I remember when Josh hired you, he talked about watching the game against Michigan, and watching that style of play, and how much you liked that. The last couple of weeks, are we seeing what you want to play? What kind of ball you want to play?
Yeah, because we've gotten better defensively. I mean, we've been able to, you know, we covered, for an hour today, we covered what Rutgers runs. they didn't run much of it. And that's an advantage for us. And then to be able to do some of those things to opponents is we've grown in that area. And not as much today where our defense led to offense. But yeah, we're getting there. Pace, tempo, efficiency, multiple guys in double figures, inside out. We didn't run probably as much as maybe some teams, but that's okay. The game called for that. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Coach, for the most part, it looked like the Rutgers played Georgie pretty much straight up defense in that second half. Has he evolved to the point where he is able to demand the ball and earn that respect from his guard?
Well, I think he's definitely earned the respect. I think there's his efficiency all year has been really, really high. And if we've done anything, we've gone away from him probably too much for stretches of the game. And when you're shooting 50+%, I don't know exactly what his percentage is from the field. It obviously went up today, but now he becomes a different threat because we'll see if teams want to double it. And that's a nice problem to have, especially when you're as good a passer as he is.
Brad Trenton's hit over 50% from three in the last 5 games. How important has it been for him to kind of get through those shooting slumps that he had earlier in the year and kind of get back on track?
You guys said he had a shooting slump. I didn't. Shooters miss shots occasionally, and he's, like I said, Trent's got an unbelievable swagger about him and confidence, and he didn't even hesitate with the out of bounds play, in the corner late, and that's why we love Trent. And it's nice, yeah. Obviously, that's a big part of what we want to do, and it's a big part of his game, is being able to knock down that three. It sets up his drive, and so we'll hope that continues.
When Georgie started to get going in the second half, did you start to run more sets to get touches in the post, or was it outworking his guy position and just demanding the ball?
We ran 3 things. We just kept mixing them up. We literally ran 3 actions, 2 of them out of our spread, and then one little set that we isolate one side of the floor. And we weren't fancy, but I'm one of those guys that if it's not broke, we just kept pounding the ball to them, and we just did that 2 or 3 different actions with a little bit of movement.
Coach, it seemed like Rutgers kept making tough shot after tough shot. Overall, what do you just think about their core young players?
They're good. That's not Rutgers that we know, or that you guys know. Okay, Steve's building an incredible program, and as evidenced by their winning games, those young kids, Geo Baker and McConnell, Harper, Mathis, those guys are young. They're good players, and he's doing it with a big physical style. They're as physical as any team in this league, and now those guys are starting to believe, and it's a tribute to Steve and his staff.
Anything else?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Kevin,